If you felt drawn to click on this video, I guarantee this message is for you. And honestly, it's a little bit for me too, so listen up because it's time for us to finally make some changes because your fear of being seen is holding you back. Your fear of rejection and judgment, your fear of messing up and not being perfect, your fear of failure, and even your fear of success is holding you back because if you were to really succeed, like put yourself out there and succeed, that would definitely mean you are seen. And if we're talking in terms of being seen and showing up online, think about the people who are successful and have big followings and people are watching them. Yes, they have people cheering them on and loving their work, but on the other hand, they have a lot of people judging them all the time. And if you were to succeed in that way, you would be subjecting yourself to that kind of judgment, and that feels really uncomfortable. So sometimes it feels a lot more safe to just reel it in and continue on scrolling and consuming and watching others as they put themselves out there. Meanwhile, you have this little voice inside of you, this spark saying, I meant to share my voice. I meant to do something. I meant to create impact. But you suppress it. And it's time to stop that. It's time to stop self-sabotaging because if it's in you, it is for you. When you see people doing those things and you have that feeling of this longing, it's because it's meant for you and you're meant to push past that fear. The fear that you're experiencing is all in your mind and in your body. It's definitely not in your soul. Your soul is not aligned with that fear. It's all in the mind through the thoughts, the false thoughts. And then on top of that, it probably creates some physical reaction of anxiety or tension or jitteriness or whatever you feel in your body. And because your thoughts are telling you, no, don't do that. This is dangerous. You're going to get judged. You're going to get rejected. And your body's tensing up. You take that as a sign of, I could never do that. I felt that way all the time. Even in school, if I had to read in front of the class or speak up, I got that shock in my body and that heat flush through me and would stutter over my words. As time went by, that happened over and over again when I had to speak up in front of people, and I took that as a sign of, I can't do this. Even though something inside me felt that I was meant to be leading something, yet I did not have leadership qualities. And it took practice and it took working with my mind and my nervous system to overcome this. So you can show up, you can be seen, you can share your message, and you're meant to, but it takes practice and repetition. It takes turning on the camera and stuttering your way through the entire take. And then if you gotta edit out the stutters and continue on until it starts getting more comfortable. You know, I even started this video like 5 times, maybe even more, because I was messing up the beginning takes, and that is okay. And I've been doing this for 15 years. And don't get me started on speaking in front of people like live, not even just through video. Even in 2019, when I went through my coaching certification program, if I was called on the Zoom call, I would freeze up and just like blurt out trying to answer whatever question I was asked. And then after I was done speaking, I would turn the camera off and cry because I was so overwhelmed with people seeing me. But now I run my own coaching programs and I do workshops and masterclasses with hundreds of people there live, and I lead it and I feel great and it's fun, and that doesn't affect me the way that it used to, but it took the repetition of continuing to show up and speak up. And notice that every time my nervous system is getting worked up, but I calm it and I tell myself it's okay, and I keep showing up and I don't let those negative, false, fearful thoughts and that sensation in my body tell me that I can't do things. And I'm not overriding my nervous system, because that can feel like self-betrayal if you're just like, shove it down, just do it, and ugh. But I'm genuinely taking care of myself and doing practices to calm my nervous system and let myself know that it's okay. And again, over time, my nervous system reaction started changing. But again, it took the repetition and practice of showing up and sharing my voice over and over again. So my question for you is, and I recommend getting out a journal and journaling on this, what is the fear that pops up around being seen? What's the dialogue in your head? What are the stories? And what do you feel when you think of those things? Or what have you felt in the past when you've tried to film or when you've tried to show up in front of people and speak up? What are the thoughts and what are the feelings? Because those are the things that are holding you back. Actually, I'm going to share with you a coaching 101 practice that might help you bust through some of these things. And that is an acronym that I want you to journal on. The acronym is BTFAR. It stands for beliefs, thoughts, feelings, actions, results. So you have your beliefs, and you have all of these thoughts fueling your beliefs, like I'm not good enough, they're gonna judge me, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not smart enough, nobody likes me, whatever the thoughts are. Those thoughts affect your feelings, so it's fueling the sensations in your body, and you're like, oh shoot, I'm not good enough, so you contract or whatever you're feeling. Like really noticing the physical sensations in your body, because those thoughts and beliefs are affecting the actions you're taking or the actions you're avoiding, which ultimately affects the results that you get. So again, I encourage you to journal out on those things. What are your beliefs? What thoughts are fueling your mind? What feelings are those thoughts creating in your body? What is that causing you to do or not do in the actions that you take? And what results are you getting in your life? Because once you can pinpoint those thoughts and beliefs that are holding you back, you can stop them. You do not have to listen to them. You can go, wait, no, I'm noticing that these thoughts are coming up and I'm choosing to pick a new thought. What do I want to believe? What do I want to program into my system? I want to program into my system that I am good enough, that my voice matters, that the people who I'm meant to impact will see my videos and will connect with me, and it will be helpful for them. And once you really start noticing those thoughts and fears that have been stopping you, you can shift them. I advise you to also do some investigating into your life. What moments in your past have programmed you to believing that it's not safe to be seen, or that your voice doesn't matter? A couple answers for me is when I was little, I remember my family would get together and the adults would be talking. I would come up and try to get in the conversation and interact. And it was probably perceived as just a kid interrupting, because I remember all of the adults just looking at me and not really responding to what I had to say, and then looking back. Like, my voice didn't matter. And I remember that happening many times. Another story, when I was in elementary school, my class went on a field trip and there ended up being a news crew there. And they interviewed some of the people from my class, and I was one of the people that they interviewed. I was so excited, like, I'm gonna be on TV, I'm gonna be on the news. And I went and told my parents, and my parents went and called my entire family. I even remember that the day that it was on the news, my parents and I were on a little weekend getaway to the beach, and we actively stayed in for the news segment so we could see me on the news. And again, my parents called all my family, everyone was tuning in, and guess whose interview was cut from the segment? Me. And I remember I was so sad and embarrassed because it was made to be this big, exciting deal, and then I was cut. Another example of, oh, my voice doesn't matter. What I have to say doesn't matter. And there were many instances throughout my life where things like that happened. And some people might say, like, oh, that was in the past, get over it. But those things that happened through our childhood are deeply ingrained in our nervous system. So what are some of those experiences and stories that you've been holding on to throughout your life? Get clear on those and give yourself grace. Give that version of yourself love. What did that childhood you in those moments need to hear? What did they need support on? And tell yourself that now. And sometimes, again, that's just as simple as putting your hand over wherever in your body you feel those sensations of shame or anxiety. I often feel it in my heart. Or if we're talking about speaking up, maybe your throat tightens up, but just putting your hands there and saying, you're safe, your voice matters, your voice is important, you're allowed to be seen. You're allowed to help others. Your story does help others. You sharing your story helps you. It helps release shame around it. Because that's another thing that holds people back from being seen, is the shame around things in their past. Like, if I'm seen, if I succeed, if I blow up on the internet and everyone knows who I am, what if they dig into my past and find out all the incidents where I haven't been perfect, and then I'm rejected, I'm canceled, it's all gone. Well, guess what? Every single person on the planet has something in their life that if that was exposed and everyone saw that aspect, they would be canceled by a ton of people. Every single person has something cancelable about them. So give yourself grace on the things that you feel like are shadows, meaning the things that you want to hide, like keep that in the shadow, don't let anyone know that. And you know what's been the most liberating thing for me is to actually make videos on those things that I felt shame over in retrospect. I usually don't do it like if I'm in the middle of the lesson, but once it's passed and I really have grown from it, I can share, and I share the lessons that I learned. Like, guess what? When I was 21, I got a DUI. Also, I'm 34 now, so it's been a long time. That was a different version of myself, but I was so ashamed. Like, if people find out, like, this is gonna ruin my life, people are gonna judge me, they're gonna think I'm a bad person. And I made a video sharing the experience. I had some drinks. I'd only been 21 for a few months, and I decided that I didn't feel safe where I was at and ended up driving a couple miles down to my friend's house. I got there safe and I parked, but it was 3 in the morning and I was going 10 miles over the speed limit, and as soon as I parked, cop lights came on and I got in trouble and I got a DUI, and I was, again, so ashamed. But I made a video probably about 8 years later sharing the lesson and the growth, and it was actually very well received. Something that I was so ashamed of people finding out was well received, and that's because I have grown and I have changed, and the messaging is you don't have to be stuck in the shame of things from your past. We do grow. People do change. I hate the messaging that some people have of, oh, people don't change. Some people don't change. Some people who choose not to change don't. But people do change if they want to. And that also goes with this video too. If you feel stuck and you can't share your voice and you're like, I just, like, my system gets overridden every single time, and my brain and my body, like, it all feels so chaotic, that can change. But you have to let go of the shame, and really, truthfully, your mess is your message. The things that you've gone through and learned from, you can then help other people through. And I've done that with so many of my videos. So many of the things that I felt shame or pain around, and then I openly share my growth through those experiences. That is what has made the biggest impact on my channel. I've helped thousands and thousands of people by sharing my growth and how I've transformed my life. But they wouldn't know that my life had transformed so massively if I wasn't willing to share the lows too. And there were plenty along the way. And when you hold shame around your shadows, that is what makes it really uncomfortable to show up online, because you feel like you have to wear a mask and show up only in a way that you feels lovable at all times by all people. And so you're not being authentic, and not being authentic is exhausting. I remember being really careful with my words because I didn't want to share certain things about myself, because what would people think? What would everybody think? And that's another thing. Oftentimes people say, I can't do that because everyone's gonna judge me. I can't show up, I can't be seen, I can't be online because everyone's gonna judge me. Well, my question is, who is everyone to you? Because in reality, our everyone typically comes down to about 5 people that we really think about. Maybe those are your parents, your coworkers, your old friends and frenemies from high school that you're still friends with on Facebook. Like, who's everyone? Because really it comes down to about 5 people, and then you're assuming that those people are judging, and then you're projecting those potential judgments from those people onto the entire internet. And really, if a stranger comes on and tears you down, it's only going to affect you if they're saying something that reflects a judgment that you've received from people before, or it's a judgment that you hold true about yourself. Like, if they're tearing something down about your appearance that really you're self-conscious about, that's gonna hurt because you believe that to be true. It's not about that stranger on the internet. It's about that stranger pointing out something that you're already self-conscious about and you're judging yourself for. You're judging yourself. You need to stop disrespecting yourself like that. And also, when you're projecting that those 5 people and everyone else are judging you, that's you judging you. You assuming they're judging you for certain things, that is you judging you. But you're framing it as them judging you. And also, in reality, if you're assuming that those people are judging you, you're judging them, saying they're judgmental. Like, I've had a couple friends in my life say, oh, I didn't want to share this aspect about me because I thought you might look down upon me. And I was like, first of all, I would not look down upon you for that. And I'm actually hurt that you would assume that I would think that, because who do you think I am? Like, why would you think that I would judge you for that? Because I genuinely would not. And that was really the moment that I realized, when I'm assuming everyone else is being judgmental, I'm judging them, and I'm also judging myself. And with that, another really good thing to journal on and get clear around is, how are you judging people? Even if you don't realize it. Maybe you see people online and you're like, oh, they must be fake. They must be doing it for the money or the attention. They must be fill in the blank. Like, what judgments are you putting on people that you don't know? Just assumptions. Because if we're doing that to other people, we're going to be assuming that other people are doing that to us. So the more we can catch ourselves when we judge others, stop yourself when you do that. And that's going to also help shift your perspective of showing up online because you're less judgmental of others. And again, I'm not saying you're a harsh, judgy person, but those little micro thoughts can pop up. So catch yourself. It's about training the mind and again, training the nervous system. But I also want to add, if you want extra like hands-on support with this, I have two things I want to share. First and foremost, I'm doing a giveaway in this video for a free coaching session with me. I'll share the giveaway details for that shortly. But I also want to share that this Thursday and Friday, May 23rd and 24th, I'm hosting the Ultimate Content Creator Live 2-day workshop series. It's completely free. I'll link it down below. Sign up. I'm very excited about this. Day one is the Camera Charisma Workshop, really diving deep into what we've been talking about today and learning to show up and embody confidence on camera and in front of people so that you can do what I do if you want to do this. I feel like if you've been watching me long enough or you're watching other people on YouTube and you really want to do it, this is the thing that can really help shift. There's also going to be some live coaching on the experience to really ingrain the shifts that you can make. And I will also say that I've had a client, Allie, she used to get hives her entire life whenever she would speak in front of people. Like she couldn't do performances on stage, or if she did like an Instagram live, she would get hives all over her body. This started at 5 years old and lasted all through her 20s. She started working with me, and within 6 weeks, she completely healed her hives that she got her entire life and started creating content, started doing podcasts and showing up on live, feels confident, doesn't get hives. So this is teachable and this is learnable. So that's day one, the Camera Charisma Workshop. Day two is the Content Creator Crash Course, and I'm going to be walking you through all of my best tips, tricks, practices that I've developed over the last 15 years. Like I'm going to show you all the technical things and you're going to learn a ton. It's going to be very hands-on, and no matter where you're at on your journey of content creation, whether you're a seasoned pro or pretty freaking new at it, you're definitely going to learn things that you don't know. Again, this is free. Do not miss out. I hope to see you live. There will be the replay available for a few days, but there will be bonuses and surprises for people who show up live. And going back to the giveaway, I want to give away a free one-on-one 60-minute coaching session. If you've jived with this video so far, my coaching definitely will help you. So to enter to win that, you must first be a subscriber, click the thumbs up button, and then leave a comment with your name, your age, because you must be 18 or older, and let me know your biggest takeaway, breakthrough, or aha moment from this video, and anything else you'd like to tell me. But that's how you enter. I'm really excited for this coaching session and for the event. And reminder, your voice matters. Your message, your impact, it matters. Your light matters. One thing that always got in my way and in my head was the thought that there's already so much online. There's so much content. There's so much overstimulation. People are just numbing out on their phones. And I didn't want to add to that. I didn't want to add to people escaping their lives. But then I had to remember, people are going to be on their devices online regardless. So maybe if I create something that has meaning, it will shift something in them, wake something up in them, and that will expand out into their actual life and create some sort of a shift. So we need more people making an impact, creating change. So if you're with me, again, I hope to see you at the workshop that's coming up, because if that's your vibe, you're gonna love this. And if you want further help with content creation, I recommend clicking on this video where I share a ton of my knowledge and tips and tricks from my 15 years of social media content creation. There's a lot of value in that video, so click on it, and I'll see you soon in the next.